Welcome to You Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Walker, and I have as my guest today Denise Mosley. Denise has recently coordinated an event for Troup County called Girl Power and Emerging Women, and it was very successful. We're going to talk to Denise about that event today. Denise, how did that event get started?
Oh, Ms. Wanda, it actually started kind of in a peculiar way. My daughter was a part of a pageant, and the participants, the contestants, had to have a platform for the pageant. So she decided that she wanted to do something that was important to her, something that she hadn't seen done before. So she started talking to me about wanting to be a part of a group of girls, wanting to get girls together to bond and to inspire one another, to do things in the community, and to do things just with one another, you know, as far as having fun, getting together, doing slumber parties, putting crafts together, and doing things in the community. So she asked me if that would be okay for her platform, and wanted to know how we could go about putting it together. She wasn't really sure what it was or what it was she was trying to put together. So I really started talking to some of my friends about what she wanted to do and how she wanted to put her platform together. And a lot of them started saying, it sounds like empowerment. She wants to get with older women, her and a group of other girls, and just be inspired and learn how to work in the community as older women do. And they said it sounded like empowerment. So that's where it started. It was called a Girl Empowerment Platform, and the platform kind of developed into Girl Power and Emerging Women.
Yeah, and that's so encouraging that a young lady
was
seeking
13
out,
years old.
Was seeking out the older women in the community, and desiring to learn from them. And also, it speaks highly of the women that she was looking to, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes.
It really does.
And she was part of your team for building this.
Right.
Yeah.
I called her the co-founder, you know, because it started from her.
Yeah.
You know, so she and I are the founders and the co-founders, and you know, she literally said when she was putting her platform together, you know, I saw you, Mama, putting together things like the back to school bash, and I see other women in the community at my church, you know, doing things that I want to learn how to do. You know, I want to have myself and other girls be embraced by you all so that we can walk with you and learn from you as we're growing. So.
Yes, and it's interesting that, you know, she wanted to pull together girls to work together, but you have a team of women that work really well with you too, right?
We do. We do. Miss Teresa Thompson is phenomenal. We're always doing things together. It seems like we play off of one another.
Yes.
Our energy is driven by one another. You know, it's almost like we get given an idea or a vision, and it kindles a fire within both of us, and it just goes from there. And just other women from other communities, other areas. A young lady from Roanoke, she just jumped on board. Her name is Tony Wright. She, without question, she just believed in it immediately. And Princess Tucker, April Ross, who has her own show. These women, Felicia Hamilton from Columbus, she has her own events planning business, and all these women just immediately embraced what it meant or what it could mean and develop into with Girl Power and Emerging Women, and they just ran with it.
Yes, and you were able to get a speaker from Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am. Carrie Wells from Bravo TV's Married to Medicine. She basically immediately said, absolutely, I would love to be a part of it. It sounds like it's going to impact so many girls, and I really want to be a part of it. It wasn't even hard to get her to come.
Yes, wow.
Yeah, and she is still talking about the workshop and how it impacted the young girls, and how she was very impressed as far as how well it was put together. And we're actually still talking about doing things together in the future.
That's great. Now, let's tell what all Girl Power involved. I know you did lots of things like a tour of the college and those kinds of things. So let's talk about what happened at Girl Power.
That week, we started out with some empowerment messages from people like Carrie Wells. She came on Tuesday, and Felicia Hamilton, she spoke. She did an empowerment message. Just a lot of empowerment messages at the beginning of the week to just get the girls some, not only just information, but to give them some messages that they could hold on to, and to inspire them, and to get them to begin to think about who they are, and to begin to value themselves as who they are now, and to value the potential that they have as emerging women. And that, with those 2 days within themselves, were just so powerful. The girls just embraced it. You just really had to be there.
Yeah, yes.
And you're right. We did a college campus tour at LaGrange College, and they really embraced it and were excited about it, you know, because we just got there and everyone had on their Girl Power t-shirts, and the girls were so excited. And, you know, they just really embraced it. And we did a professional shadow day around the city. We had so many women from different professions in the city who just really they embraced it, just sent emails, hey, I want to be a part of it.
Wow.
Can you get 2 girls to come and shadow with? I mean, it was so much energy behind it. And I want to thank Carrie Brickage. She did a lot of work in getting a lot of professional women on board. She took on that task, and it was so easy. There's so many women in the community that really just said this is something that we wish we had when we were growing up. So it was awesome. It really was.
Tell me some of the women who participated in the community and what they did in that job shadowing.
Well, we had from Charter Bank. I'm so sorry right now, I can't think of names. I wish I had brought a card with me. But the women at Charter Bank, they were one of the first that stepped out and said, we would love to have a couple of girls come over so that they can see what it is to work in the banking industry. We had the young woman that owns An Affair to Remember.
Amy Warren.
Yes, Amy. She had the girls over, and they had a wonderful time. As a matter of fact, I owe her a t-shirt. She wants a Girl Power t-shirt, so I have to drop one off over there. And we just different places. We actually had some young ladies to go over to Procter and Gamble. And they got a chance to tour the plant and tour the science and technology building over there. Just a lot of different places. We had some girls to go over to actually a place in the valley, daycare in the valley. So she participated over there, and she was the director for the day. And it was just, it was.
Who did that?
Miss Fuller, the young lady, I can't think of her name right now, but she went down there to Kitty College, and the owner of the daycare allowed her, and the owner's name is Yolanda. She allowed her to be the director for the day. Yeah, and she had her to do an interview. She had her to help with the children. She read with the children. Just everything that the owner would normally do during the day. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. I know this will make lasting memories for them, and also build their confidence along the way.
Absolutely.
Now, I noticed in the paper that you were going to have a mother-daughter tea. Did you?
We actually postponed the mother-daughter tea.
Okay.
Because I wasn't feeling well, and I did not want to be there since this is our first one. So we missed the Mother-Daughter Tea, and Dr. Teresa Harrison of Gospel Today magazine was to be the speaker.
Yes.
So we're excited about being able to do that, hopefully before they go back to school.
Okay. Now, is this something that you plan to do every year?
Absolutely. Every year, this will be an annual event, and because it's not just the event itself, it's the organization. Because we're an organization, it won't just be the empowerment workshop. We plan to do many, many different things.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I know, I met you through the Back to School Bash that New Community led a couple of years ago, and was very impressed with all the things that you mentioned Teresa Thompson were doing. And Teresa is the pastor's wife at your church.
Yes, she's my first lady.
And that's in West Point.
Yes, Keeney Memorial United Methodist Church. Love her. She, like I said, she just has so much energy.
Yes.
And she's very supportive of anything that is of help to the community and the church as a whole. And she goes in and just rolls her sleeves up and just is a part of it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and y'all went to college together, didn't you? Y'all just finished college.
Yeah, LaGrange College.
In 2013.
Excited, yeah. We were one another's help, just gave each other, encouragement and inspiration through that journey of our lives.
Yeah, that really is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, how many girls did you have to participate?
We had about 50 girls to register, and we had 30 to show up for the entire workshop.
Yes.
And they, it wasn't, we didn't have to kind of, urge them to get there. They were there on time, every day, just excited about what we were doing and just wanted to see what was next.
Yes, and it was free, right?
It was free.
Yeah.
It was free. So that really gave them opportunity to come in and just be a part of it without worrying about, finances and things of that nature.
Yes. Now, I'm always interested in knowing how people have an idea and they're able to see it to completion. Tell us about the steps that you took once you had that idea.
Oh my goodness, it was a lot of work on my part as far as just coordinating everything. In the beginning, it was just something that I really believed, that the Lord was saying was to be.
Yes.
For it to start as a seed with my daughter, and to believe that it was important enough to see it through, to see the material of what she saw in her own heart.
Yes.
And for me to take that and just, for me in my own heart to see it just develop into what she could see the potential. So I started just sending emails to people about what we wanted to do. Wanted to really do it in May, the end of May. But the more I thought about it and the more it looked like it wasn't going to develop, into anything in May, we decided to change the date. A lot of people were saying that, do you not want to do it around, don't try to do it around a holiday. And the more my husband and I talked about it, no time will ever be the right time to do anything if you consider, holidays and such. So we just went with the end of June to try to get it together. And once we decided on a date, and I just really started sitting down, putting it together, putting the outline together, and emailing people, it just took off.
Yes.
It took off from there. And prayed about it and just said, whoever will be a part of it will be. Let's just go with it, because it has to come, it has to be developed, it has to come to light.
Yes.
And it did.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw your post on Facebook.
Yes.
And I saw how many women just were immediately responding that they wanted to do it. It was really impressive.
I was just amazed at it, because even though we were putting it together and it was something that my daughter and I said that we wanted to do, I could have never imagined, how well of a response it did get. I was blown away. I'm still just in awe and amazement at how well it did.
Yes, and I was going to do something for Walt's World one time, and it was very similar to that. I wanted to give young people an experience of meeting with certain people in the city,
right?
You know, or hearing about different things to inspire. And what I learned through that experience is that there are many people in the community that have a message that they want to give.
That's so true. It's so many people in the community that want to be a part of something like what we've done. And like I told the newspaper, this isn't something new, you know, and I know that it's not. And it's very similar to a lot of things that other people want to do. I guess it was just a matter of us actually just doing it.
That's right.
You know, and I've seen other girl empowerment organizations that have done or are doing a lot of the things that we just did with this workshop and had no clue. I mean, I didn't try to follow a pattern of anyone else's organizations or what they were doing, but it just amazed me after I talked to some of the ladies on the leadership team about different organizations. I just went back and looked at some of the things that other people were doing. It amazed me because it's similar.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it's just a matter of doing it, and once you get it out there and how many people want to be a part of it. A lot of the ladies that participated in the Shadow Day, if I run into them, they're still talking about it.
Yes.
And talking about how impressed they were and how they're looking forward to participating in future events.
Yes, and it is to inspire the young women, but it actually inspired the older women,
oh my
didn't
gosh, it really did. One of the empowerment sessions that we had, the women on the leadership team was like, is this girl power or woman empowerment?
Yeah.
You know, it really touched our hearts and created a space for us to be inspired ourselves and to know that there is a work to be done and to continue. So we're growing in this as well. It's again, it's so, I'm in awe.
Okay, and have you heard from the young girls? What are they saying about
They
girl power?
are so excited and ready for more. They're looking forward to what we had to postpone. You know, when I got sick, they were on Facebook saying, "Where's Miss Denise? We need girl power." You know, we created a page on Facebook, a closed page for girl power, and they're in there just chatting it up, talking about everything, and still excited about it.
Yes, and you are looking for people to contribute for next year?
We are, to contribute overall. We're looking for grants. We actually someone reached out to us with some applications for grants, so we're looking for grant money and donor dollars so that we can continue and develop girl power even more as an organization.
Yes. And Denise, I think you're an outstanding woman.
Thank you, Ms. Wanda.
Well, you are welcome. And I just want to know who in your life inspired you.
My mom, definitely, and my aunts. I come from a huge family and have a lot of aunts, and of course my mother. And just watching them throughout my life just continue and to have the strength that they've had to just to beat the odds.
Yes.
And to just move, to go on and do what they had to do as women that had children, as women that had to work, had to do certain things. Just watching them, I think that I developed a lot of my strength, the strength that I have, just watching them and being a part of a big family of women that had to do what they had to do.
Yes. Now, you said your grandmother had 13 children.
She did.
And how many of those were women?
Oh, Lord, let me count, Miss Wanda. I think it's my mom, Sheila, Irene, Alice, Lamerle. It was seven women.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got a complete array of women too.
Different personalities,
Yeah.
just different levels of strength
Yes.
to look at and to draw from.
Yeah, and let's talk about the magazine that you did.
Yes, ma'am. I did have a magazine a couple of years ago called Favor Magazine.
Yes.
We started out as a print publication and then kind of integrated and moved online as an online magazine. And it really kind of built my confidence as far as getting in touch with people not only in the community, but people in maybe perhaps the gospel industry. I just had a wonderful opportunity to meet a lot of people and just learning that, you know, people really want to be a part of something that is good and that gives back to people, no matter where they are. So Favor Magazine has been my base. And maybe, you know, perhaps the girls and Girl Power can pick that back up, and that could be something that they can develop into their own magazine. And
you wrote a couple of books?
I have. My first book was published back in 2005, and it's called Can I Go Beyond the Veil? And both my books are still on Amazon, I believe, and at Barnes and Noble. The first one is called Can I Go Beyond the Veil? And it talks about and just inspires women in the ministry to gird up and just to continue with what they're doing, especially if it's ministry and they believe that it's something that the Lord has led them to do. And just talked about how tough it is to be in the ministry as a woman. And it was just a book of encouragement.
Did that come from your experience?
It did.
Yes.
It did. I am in the ministry and just learning to navigate through the ministry as a woman, and just not only from my own experiences, because honestly my experiences haven't been as tough as it sounded like it had been for other women. And just hearing how hard it was for other women to be accepted in the ministry, and it kind of tugged on my heart, and I wanted to put something together to inspire other women in the ministry.
Yes.
So that's what Can I Go Beyond the Veil was about.
Yes. And then also, like, what I feel is if it's hard to be in ministry within the church, there is an open field outside the church.
And that is so what I've been hoping that my life has been a picture of for other women, because I feel like I was led to not maybe the church, but the community.
Yes.
So my ministry has been, you know, in the fields, you know, along the highways and byways, and you get more accomplished, and the Lord's mission is accomplished out in the communities. So
it really is, and I think there's a move for the church to come outside those four walls right now.
Absolutely.
And people who have not had an opportunity to minister within the church.
Yeah, it's so much work to be done in the community.
And they've sat on the pews and they've just been soaked in the Word.
Right.
You know, it's time for those people to be out and taking their place in ministries.
That is so true.
In the jail, or just, you know, different places that they can work and minister, you know, big sisters, big brothers.
Absolutely.
Yes, Boys and Girls Club. Just,
that's right.
You know, there are so many avenues that people can.
Right, and it's nothing that you don't need affirmation from anyone in the church to go out in the street and work in places like you just mentioned.
That's right. And you know, that's what we're supposed to do anyway.
Absolutely, I agree.
We're supposed to go out.
That's right.
So,
that's right. So my place is, and I'm more comfortable, honestly, to tell you the truth, is doing things in the community and along the hedges and the highways.
Yes. Yeah, and it's fun.
It is. It is. Yeah. You get more accomplished. I just feel like it's a work that everyone is called to, and my hope is that, like you said, we do come out of the pews and outside of the four walls and just begin to do the work that needs to be done.
That's
you know, we talk about it a lot, and it's easy to talk about, to go to church and sit in the pew and talk about the things that need to be done, but actually putting foot to pavement is what we need to be doing.
That's right. And I'm sure there are many pastors out there that say they want some of those people on the pews to volunteer to do the work at the church too. But we need everybody, don't we?
Everybody. Everybody needs to roll up.
And there is a place for everybody. And it's so nice that God has made it so that when we find our place, it's something that we really love to do.
Yeah.
So, yes. Now tell us about your second book.
Second book's a fiction book. It's called Shared Struggle, Shared Faith. And it's funny that it just came about just, again, I listen to people's stories, and I listen to people. I may not have a lot to say sometimes, but I listen to what people, you know, come to me with in confidence. And that book kind of developed out of stories from different people. So I developed 4 characters from different people's lives, and they became these 4 women that were a part of the same mega church that had different issues within their own individual lives. And they just kind of met one another through a plight that one of the young women were dealing with, and it kind of came to light in the church as a whole. And these 4 women kind of migrated toward one another and became strength and encouragement for one another. It's basically what the book was about. And we had really good feedback from that book. You know, a lot of a lot of women read it and were inspired by it and just encouraged in what was in the book.
How has your faith developed to a place where you're able to write books and you're able to minister in the community? How did that happen?
Miss Wanda, I don't know. I've always been a strong believer in the Lord. And even before we say we were saved, you know, at a certain time in a certain place, but I just really have felt a pull from the Lord at an early age. And it has just developed. It just has, you know. I spent some time in Japan, and I think when I was in Japan, my relationship with the Lord strengthened even more over there.
And was that because you didn't have anybody?
That's exactly. And I've always known that, but I've never had anybody to say that. But just because it was he and I. And I couldn't get to my family or the familiar places. You know, even before I left to go to Japan, it was almost like he said, now it's time for you and I. To spend some time together, and that's exactly what happened.
And when we spend that time with just the Lord and us, that is when we are strengthened.
Absolutely.
And that is when we learn who we are.
That's exactly what happened.
And are able to step out into that with confidence.
Exactly. That's really where it all began for me.
Well, Denise, I just want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Miss Wanda.
You are so welcome, and I thank you for the influence that you are in the community.
Thank you.
I just appreciate that you're one of those women who will teach the young women.
I hope so, Miss Wanda. I'm trying.
To come up in the faith and to be able to impact their community.
Thank you so much.
And I just hope that this show has encouraged you to see how one woman can step out of her comfort zone and affect the community. And so if you have a dream or if you have a vision that the Lord has given you, I just want to encourage you to act on that. Thank you for watching You Make the Difference, because you really do.
Got a promise from heaven. It's a year of replevin'. Got a promise from heaven.